To This Day by Shane Koizan. When I was a kid, I used to think pork chops and karate chops were the same thing. I thought they were both pork chops. And because my grandmother thought it was cute and because they were my favorite, she let me keep doing it. Not really a big deal. One day, before I realized fat kids are not designed to climb trees, I fell out of a tree. Bruised the right side of my body. I didn't want to tell my grandmother about it because I was afraid I'd get in trouble for playing somewhere where I shouldn't have been. A few days later, the gym teacher noticed the bruise and I got sent to the principal's office. From there, I was sent to another small room with a really nice lady who asked me all kinds of questions about my life at home. That's not a reason to lie. As far as I was concerned, life was pretty good. I told her whenever I'm sad, my grandmother gives me karate chops. This led to a full-scale investigation, and I was removed from the house for 3 days until they finally decided to ask how I got the bruises. News of this silly little story spread quickly through the school, and I earned my first nickname, Pork Chop. To this day, I hate pork chops. I'm not the only kid who grew up this way. Surrounded by people who used to say that rhyme about sticks and stones, as if broken bones were more than the names we got called, and we got called them all. So we grew up believing no one would ever fall in love with us, and that we'd be lonely forever, that we'd never meet anyone that would make us feel like the sun was something they built for us in their tool shed. So broken heartstrings bled the blues as we tried to empty ourselves so we would feel nothing. Don't tell me that hurts less than a broken bone. That an ingrown life is something surgeons can cut away, that there's no way for it to metastasize, it does. She was 8 years old. Our first day of grade 3, when she got called ugly. We both got moved to the back class so we would stop getting bombarded by spitballs. But the school halls were a battleground, where we found ourselves outnumbered day after wretched day. We'd stay inside for recess because outside was worse. Outside we'd have to rehearse running away or learn to stay still like statues, giving no clues that we were there. In grade 5, they taped a sign to her desk that read, "Beware of dog." To this day, despite a loving husband, she doesn't think she's beautiful because of a birthmark that takes up a little less than half her face. Kids used to say she looks like an answer that someone tried to scribble out but couldn't quite get the job done. And they'll never understand that she's raising 2 kids whose definition of beauty begins with the word mom. Because they see her heart before they see her skin, because she's only ever been amazing. He was a broken branch, grafted onto a different family tree, adopted. But not because his parents opted for a different destiny. He was 3 when he became a mixed drink of 1 part left alone and 2 parts tragedy, started therapy in 8th grade, had a personality made up of tests and pills, lived like the uphills were mountains, and the downhills were cliffs, 4/5 suicidal, a tidal wave of antidepressants, and an adolescence of being called Popper. 1 part because of the pills, 99% because of the cruelty. He tried to kill himself in grade 10 when a kid who still had his mom and dad had the audacity to tell him, "Get over it!" As if depression is something that can be remedied by any of the contents in a first aid kit. To this day, he is a stick of dynamite, lit from both ends, can describe to you in detail the way the sky bends in the moments before it's about to fall. And despite an army of friends who call him an inspiration, he remains a conversation piece between people who can understand. Sometimes being drug-free has less to do with addiction and more to do with sanity. We weren't the only kids who grew up this way. To this day, kids are still being called names. The classics were "Hey Stupid," "Hey Spaz." Seems like each school has an arsenal of names getting updated every year. And if a kid breaks into school and no one chooses to hear, do they make a sound? Are they just background noise of a soundtrack stuck on repeat when people say things like "kids can be cruel"? Every school was a big top circus act, and the pecking order went from acrobats to lion tamers, clowns to carnies. All of these were miles ahead of who we were. We were freaks. Lobster clawed boys and bearded ladies, oddities, struggling depression and loneliness, playing solitaire, spin the bottle, trying to kiss the wounded parts of ourselves and heal. But at night, while the others slept, we kept walking the tightrope. It was practice, and yes, some of us fell, but I want to tell them that all of this is just debris. Leftover when we finally decided to smash all the things we thought we used to be. And if you can't find anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror. Look a little closer, stare a little longer, because there's something inside of you that made you keep trying, despite everyone who told you to quit. You built a cast around your broken heart, you signed it yourself, you signed it, they were wrong! Because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe they decided to pick you last for basketball or everything. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to school, but never told. Because how can you hold your ground if everyone around you is trying to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong. They have to be wrong. Why else would we still be here? We grew up learning to cheer on the underdog because we saw ourselves in them. We stem from a root planted in belief that we were not what we were told, that we are not abandoned cars stalled out and sitting on an empty highway. And if in some way we are, don't worry. We only got out to walking deck gas. We are graduating members of the class of We Made It. Not the faded echoes of voices crying out, names will never hurt me. Of course they did. But our lives will only always continue to be a balancing act that has less to do with pain and more to do with beauty. Hey guys, I need to put this at the end of the video just because I need to bring up something. If any of you are dealing with suicide or depression or something, do not stay quiet about it. Alright? Please don't. Let it be known so that people can get you the help that you need. It can be scary to do that. Trust me, I've been in that same spot. But suicide is never the answer. It does not ruin the chances of getting anything's. It does not ruin chances of things getting worse. No, it ruins the chances of them getting any better. Depression is a real issue. Suicide is a real issue. Alright? And to those who don't have depression and don't have suicidal thoughts or anything like that, it's a lot more than just being sad. Trust me. It's an emptiness beyond belief that I can't even describe. What happened to Cyndago is tragic. Alright. It should have never happened. I wish it hadn't. I don't know what else to say. Now, if any of you need someone to talk to, my username on Steam is Whizzlefizz. Well, it's Stova Whizzlefizz. You can find it by just searching Whizzlefizz into the Steam tag. But if any of you need me, I don't care if we're talking for 12 hours straight. I will gladly stay up for as long as you need for me to talk to you. In case you're thinking of suicide or if you're having depressive thoughts, talk to me. Add me on Steam and let's talk. Let's squash this together. Alright? Suicide is not the answer, and it never will be. Imagine this scenario. You kill yourself while your parents are out. Your parents come home and they find your dead body on the floor, covered in blood. Your mother kneels down, falls to her knees, lifts you up and hugs you, and apologizes for everything that went wrong in your life. And even apologizes for the things that she didn't even know. Your father is standing there, speechless in the kitchen, with his hand over his mouth like this, because he doesn't even know what to do. Your sister hears all this commotion outside. She runs down the stairs. She sees you on the floor, and she starts crying and bawling because she looked up to you. Your friend finds out the news at school. He runs out of class, crying and screaming in the hallway. That night, he killed himself too. Suicide hurts everybody when you do it. Trust me, you are not better off dead. You are not. You all mean something. You are all worth something. You know that. Somewhere deep down inside you, I know you know that. Hopefully in my next video I'll be a bit more cheerful. Don't stay quiet about depression. Please don't. See you guys next time.